हाँ वैसे ही।
स्टार्ट करिए, मैंने रुका।
माइक क्या
Hello, is it audible? Okay.
You can lift the mic up.
Okay.
That's better.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
ladies. I'm Isha Agrawal. Should I give my introduction as well?
Yes.
Okay, I did my interior designing, diploma in interior designing from INIFD Hotchkiss. Before that I'm graduate from commerce, and which is from my hometown, Purvanchal University. And after completing my interior designing, I started working with Mr. Ravish Vora. Firm name was RV Interiors, which is located in Gurgaon. And I did there for almost 2 years, and then after that I switched to Sketch Studio, which is in Anand Vihar nearby. And my job profile is there, intermediate architect, same is equivalent to interior designer. And right now I'm here to give a presentation on my topic is design principles. So should we start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so first of all, before starting, I just want to start with what is interior designing. I'm sure about that you guys must be knowing exactly what is interior designing, but I want to share my views. Designing is something which we initiate when we initiate some changes in man-made things. And interior designing, if we consider, is interior designing is designing something, designing some space which is enclosed from walls and ceilings, which is aesthetically good and for the betterment of human being living. So we should start with the design principles. Design principles are of basically 6 fundamentals we have, which are balance, rhythm, emphasis, contrast, scale and proportion, and unity. So let's start with the balance. Balance in interior designing is like when two objects are proposed so that it is visually look equilibrium. It should look equally. Either they are same object or different objects. So in balance we have 3 categories. We can balance our interior through 3 aspects, which are symmetrical balance, asymmetrical balance and radial balance. So if we talk about symmetrical balance is like
Shrestha, can we close lights? Few.
मैम फिर इसमें
बिल्कुल भी नहीं आएगा।
बिल्कुल नहीं।
अच्छा, मुझे दिख नहीं रहा। चलिए please, sorry.
no problem. Symmetrical balance is like placing two similar objects, two like objects on either side of the vertical axis. As you can see in the image also, we have a vertical axis here, and we have a vertical axis here, and we have placed similar object on the either sides, so that it is symmetrical and it as well as the balanced. If we talk about asymmetrical balance, it is placing two different objects so that it is balanced overall. Our eyes move from one point to another and it seems to be balanced. Like if you can see in the second image, it is the example of asymmetrical balance. We have placed a chair here, and in front of that we have placed two different small size chairs. But in equal, if we talk about total, it is same size of the chairs. So these are almost balanced. Either they are of different sizes if we talk about each furniture, but they are in total looking same size. So it is an example of asymmetrical balance. If we talk about radial is placing some objects in a center axis. According to, if we have a chandelier or something, we have a center axis to it. So our furniture or any object rotate around that axis. So it can be of same objects or different objects. So that is an example of radial balance. Now if we go for rhythm is something when we have an eye movement from one point to another without any obstruction. Like if these are the paintings kept. photographs framed. So my eyes, if my like there are 3 frames, there are 2 frames, there are 3 frames, like that. So if my eyes continue from this exit, it continues like that, but it gets obstructed because there are 2 numbers, not there. There is no kind of rhythm. The mirror is placed, and if I talk about in this wall, this is an example of rhythm because all are of same horizontal axis and ACs are placed on same side. So I can say that it is a rhythm following. Rhythm is a common example if we know about music also. If harmonium is playing its own tune and guitar is playing its own tune, so we can't say it's a rhythm. So every point, every object, every tune should be of same category kind of thing, we can say. So this is the rhythm, and we can now it's emphasis. Emphasis is an example. Emphasis is a fundamental where we highlight something. Either it can be object or a wall through texture, paint, any object, any furniture. If we have a beige kind of room, either we can have a center point as a wall, highlighted wall, or we can place a bright color accessories, or we can place some cushions above the beige sofas of different colors so that it can emphasize on something. We can have a focal point on it so that the room doesn't look boring. It's like that. It can be also a fireplace. I've shown an example of fireplace. Like the room is almost of neutral colors, and I've placed a fire. It has a fireplace, so it has a focal point on something. If I enter in a room, I have a focal point. Yeah, it's a highlighted part. So it's an example of emphasis. Then we come to contrast. Contrast is very common in day-to-day life also. We have so many things, colors and everything. Likewise, we contrast to each other. We don't wear something like which is of all same color. So it goes with interior as well. When we have for walls and furnitures of same thing, we play with the colors. Contrast can be played with colors, with forms, with shapes, everything. Likewise, if colors, we can play black and white, red and pink, like that we play. In forms, we can play with square table, with round something. It can be placed at contrast. And in shade, in space also, we can have some positive space, negative space. In a room, we have some dark space, some lighted space. So it can be contrasted to each other. If we want a space to be highlighted less, we can take it as a dark space. We should not place any lights there. A little bit light, dim light, something like that. And if you want to highlight an area in a room, so we can have more lights in that. So it can be termed as contrast also. Now coming to the scale and proportion. Scale and proportion is like using different shapes and size of objects in a area so that it it looks good aesthetically. And if we place like different shapes of object together which have different sizes also, so we have to place them accordingly so that it looks good, as it looks good to our eyes as well. And scale is like, for example, I have shown an image of a room where different type of furnitures are used, different sizes, a long sofa, a small sofa, a chaise, a center table, but they have cluttered in such a way as they are looking nice. So this is the example of scale and proportion. Then we come to unity. Unity is gives a sense of visual pleasure if all the elements are combined together. And when unity is achieved, a composition does not become cluttered or confusing. A concept can be communicated more clearly. A design evokes a sense of quality and organization. So when unity is achieved, we can have an area where we can sense a quality kind of furnitures, and it can be communicated more clearly. So this was my presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah. This one.
वैसे भी सुनाई दे जाएगा ना?
All
I
right,
was
then.
also saying the same thing. Mic is not muted.
No, but that's for the
Okay.
I think the video. Isha, I want to understand from you when you were talking about scale and proportion is later. First, balance, symmetry, and asymmetry. I mean, you were saying symmetry is when you put same size objects of different structure maybe or shape opposite to each other. So how is that symmetry? Asymmetry.
Symmetry. You're talking about symmetrical
No,
or
asymmetry.
asymmetrical? Asymmetrical is like placing two different shape and size of object according on either side of the vertical axis or horizontal vertical axis, so that it looks equally. In equality, it looks equilibrium visually.
How? I mean,
Uh,
in your picture, you had put one a
Long sofa.
and then two chairs.
Two chairs.
So
In each item, if we consider, they are of different size and shape. But if we put two different chairs this side and one long sofa this side, in equal, if we see from both the sides, they look of same sizes.
yeah, but so that means they are in symmetry to each other.
So-
Asymmetric is something. Are you just talking about asymmetry as in the variation of size and shape, not the area of the room being divided asymmetrically and still be balanced?
No, I'm talking about the furnitures. If we and objects, like in room, if we have different kinds of object, if we place chair that side, place sofa that side, it doesn't look balanced. We have to place furnitures of different size and shapes in such a way so that it doesn't look cluttered. It should
Okay,
look.
for example, if this is a room,
Yes.
you have this U table at the conference laid up table and you have the chairs. So this is very symmetrical. If I ask you to make it asymmetrical balanced, how would you do it?
It's like if we have both tables on both the sides, this is symmetrical. We can have small. We are having a long table this side. We can have small sizes of tables on this side as well. It will look balanced.
No. Asymmetrical balance, as per my understanding, is when you have an area, like for example, if this is a buffet room and my chairs are been lined up like that, my dais is this, and vertically I've placed a buffet table that is balancing the room in an asymmetrical manner with the size and shapes of the product that or the objects that I have, plus also the area is being divided asymmetrically. There's no parallel division. Like for example, if there is 3 feet left from there, 3 feet equally is left from there. That is symmetrical balance. Whereas asymmetrical balance, as per my understanding, is if I would put one table here, a dais, raised up dais there, and a table here for an arrangement, that is asymmetrical. I have made 3 focal points for people, and yet the room is looking aesthetically good. That is my understanding. The next question is, you have talked about beige color. If I give you 3 serial of color, will you be able to rank them from dark to light? Brown, beige and fawn.
Dark to light.
Dark to light.
Brown, fawn,
beige and fawn.
Beige, brown is a color, is a hue, and beige is like
Brown is a hue.
Brown comes inside beige. Beige is shade of brown.
Beige is
Shade
of
of-
brown or a tint of brown.
Sorry, brown is shade of beige.
Okay, and then fawn?
Fawn, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of fawn.
Okay, in terms of third question is, in terms of scale, proportion and unity, can you give me another example? Because you said unity is about making the room aesthetically good, scale is about big and small, and proportion is also equivalent to the same. No, it is, I mean, I want to understand
Okay,
what
I am
actually you were
just
saying.
Scale is something, scale and proportion is like if we have different types, different sizes of vases. Like
Okay.
if we have three size of vases, we have to place it accordingly. Like small in front, small in back, big one inside, like this, so that it can look. It should not be cluttered. It should be combined together.
It should look like a nice composition.
Nice composition.
Okay.
So that is scale and proposition, and unity is
Scale and proportion are same for you.
same. Scale is like different sizes,
And
and
proportion is?
proportion is different shapes.
Acha. Okay.
And unity, if we talk about unity, is combination of different elements, lines, shapes, colors, and everything. So when we combine all elements together and we create a environment or space so that it looks aesthetically good, that comes, I think, in unity.
Okay. And how do you think that principles are, as necessary as elements to make a design
Elements
successful?
are very necessary. If we want to follow a principle, a fundamental, we obviously need elements. If we don't have line, we don't have size, we don't have colors, we can't implement principle on it. We want elements together so that we can apply fundamentals, we can apply principles on them. So principles are just rules, the fundamentals which are provided to us so that we can apply it on the given space, given sizes. So
But
that-
can we omit them?
no elements.
No, principles.
No, principles are very necessary. We can create our own principle, but the 6 principles, if we combine them together, it creates a very nice area, nice space. We can create our own principle.
Like example?
Like example, if we like anything, if we are designing, if we talk about this one, if we talk about this emphasis, we have like highlighted one point, one area, one focal point. We can also create our own. We doesn't have to always follow how we have to highlight an area. We have to give focal point to a room or to a space. We can use different principles as well. It's not like we have to always use all 6 one. We can either use 3 principles, we can either use 5 all to create a room, to create a space.
I have a different point of view on that.
Okay, can I know?
Yeah, it is that for me, without principles, a design is not complete.
Not-
All the 6 have to be. Scale, proportion, unity, emphasis, everything. Look at your dress. I am from a fashion background. So if your collar is not printed, the focal goes off.
Yeah, that's true.
So focal has to be, but still it is creating a unity. It is still emphasizing a point. So all these 6 points, principles and element are a core, the foundation of a design. If even one is missed, your design flops. Whether symmetrical or symmetrical, that's apart. But you have to have a combination. The right combination is the right design. If you miss out, how can you have a room without scale, proportion, emphasis, unity, balance, rhythm? Even if it is if like the way you said, this is not creating rhythm, but still this is creating rhythm. So in one room, there is something which is nicely placed, nicely rhythmic. Like that painting, if there would have been another one, that would have been symmetrical balance. So things are, yes, but this is not a successful room. If you look at it, there is still a lot to be done to make this room a proper design. Okay, so that is my take on it, but alright.
What is the difference between art and design?
Art and design. Design is something which we, when we initiate some change on the thing which is already created. Design is that, and art is something which we create new. Likewise, if the object we don't know anything, we don't have any line, we don't have any graphics and all that, we create something new. That is art. And design is something when we initiate some new changes in the given object, in the given space, in the given area. Design can be anything.
design website, we can design a room, we can design our anything, we can design our clothes, we can design our guitar, we can design our anything, but we need a base for design. But art is something which is created very new.
What is the new trend in interior design?
Sorry?
What is the new trend in interior design? आज का ट्रेंड क्या है इंटीरियर?
आज का ट्रेंड
न्यू ट्रेंड क्या निकल के आता है कि चलो लोगों को क्या पसंद है, अपने फील्ड में काम क्या आज की डेट में क्या पसंद
It's just not like something very particular कि if you want कि if you like कि contemporary designer work, so it's not like कि सिर्फ contemporary ही चल रहा है या minimalistic furniture चल रहे हैं या royal design चल रही है. It's not like that. It's according to space and according to client कि उनको क्या पसंद आता है, उनका taste
आपके
क्या है.
अकॉर्डिंग क्या आप क्या चेंज करना चाहेंगे आपकी आज की डेट में? अगर कुछ न्यू इन्वेंशन करना चाहो तो क्या करोगे?
New
Interior.
invention. I want something. It's just like if I get a space, then only I can design something. If I not have any base, I cannot say.
All right, Kishan, thank you.
Okay, thank you.